Imagine for a moment that it is the year 1985. You are sitting in the backyard of a modest home in a quiet suburb. There is a station wagon in the driveway and the smell of a charcoal grill in the air. In this world, a single income from a steady job is enough to pay the mortgage, keep two cars running, and send the kids to summer camp without a second thought. That was the definition of normal. That was the standard of the middle class. But as we stand here today in the year 2026, that world feels less like a memory and more like a work of science fiction. The things our parents took for granted have not just become more expensive, they have been systematically transformed into luxury goods that only the top 10% of earners can truly afford without drowning in debt. We are told that the economy is growing and that technology is making life easier, but the reality on the ground feels very different for those of us trying to hold on to the middle-class dream. The standard of living that used to be a birthright for anyone willing to work 40 hours a week has been quietly moved behind a velvet rope. In this discussion, we are going to peel back the layers of our current economic reality and look at 10 specific things that were once considered basic staples of life, but are now becoming out of reach for the average family. This is not just about the rising price of eggs or gas. This is about the fundamental restructuring of what it means to live a comfortable life. Let us start with the biggest pillar of the middle-class identity, which is owning a home. For decades, the path was simple. You worked hard, you saved a small down payment, and you bought a house that would eventually be your greatest asset. But in 2026, the median home price has climbed to levels that defy logic for most working families. With the median price now hovering well above $450,000 and mortgage rates staying stubbornly high, the monthly payment on a starter home is now double what it was just 5 years ago. For many, the dream of the white picket fence has been replaced by the reality of the forever rental. According to the latest data, less than 15% of homes currently on the market are considered affordable for a household earning the median income. The home is no longer a sanctuary of wealth building. It has become a massive debt trap that consumes half of a family's take-home pay. Then there is the issue of transportation. Remember when you could buy a reliable new car for $20,000? In 2026, the average price of a new vehicle has surged past $50,000. Even the used car market is no longer the refuge it once was, with decade-old vehicles selling for prices that would have bought a luxury sedan in the past. But the cost of the car is only the beginning. Auto insurance premiums have skyrocketed by more than 25% in the last 2 years alone, and repair costs have followed suit. For the modern middle class, a car is no longer just a way to get to work. It is a second mortgage that never ends. We see families stretching their auto loans to 84 or even 96 months just to keep the monthly payment manageable, essentially paying for a car long after its warranty has expired. Next, we must look at the cost of raising the next generation. Higher education was once the great equalizer, the ticket to a better life than the one your parents had. But today, the cost of a 4-year degree is a financial burden that can take half a lifetime to pay off. Young people are entering the workforce with 6-figure debts for degrees that often do not pay enough to cover the interest, let alone the principal. It is a cycle that delays every other milestone of adulthood, from marriage to homeownership. And for those with younger children, the cost of daycare has reached a breaking point. In many states, the annual cost of childcare is now higher than the tuition at a public university. It has reached a point where many parents are forced to realize that one of them is essentially working just to pay someone else to watch their children. The math simply does not add up anymore. Even the way we eat has been divided by class lines. There was a time when a trip to the grocery store did not require a strategic financial plan. But today, the price of fresh, organic, and whole foods has turned healthy eating into a luxury. We are seeing a phenomenon called shrinkflation, where prices stay the same or rise while the actual amount of food in the package gets smaller and smaller. Tilling a cart with nutritious food for a family of 4 can now easily cost $300 or more per week. The middle class is being pushed toward cheaper, processed alternatives because the cost of a simple, home-cooked healthy meal has become a significant portion of the weekly budget. What about the need for rest and connection? The annual family vacation used to be a non-negotiable part of the year. It was a time to disconnect from work and build memories with the people who matter most. But between the cost of airfare, the surge in hotel pricing, and the hidden fees that seem to be attached to everything, a one-week trip for a family can now easily exceed $10,000. For most people, that kind of spending is no longer a given. It is a major financial decision that requires years of saving or, sadly, a reliance on high-interest credit cards. The staycation was once a choice, but for many in 2026, it is the only option left. Healthcare is another area where the floor has fallen out from under the middle class. Even for those with employer-provided insurance, the out-of-pocket costs and deductibles have become a primary source of anxiety. A single unexpected illness or an emergency room visit can wipe out a family's entire savings in a weekend. Medical debt remains the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. And it is not just affecting the uninsured. It is affecting the hardworking people who thought they were protected. The feeling of security that comes with knowing you can afford to get sick is a luxury that fewer and fewer people possess. Even our hobbies and leisure time are being taxed by the new economy. The simple pleasures like playing a round of golf, taking a yoga class, or attending a local theater production have seen their prices drift upward. Everything has been monetized and premiumized. Clubs that were once affordable community staples have raised their dues to exclude the average earner. Even the time itself has become a luxury. The 40-hour work week is a relic of the past for many who now find themselves working a primary job plus a side hustle just to maintain a baseline of comfort. The luxury of free time to pursue a passion or simply sit on the porch is being traded for the grind of the gig economy. Finally, we have to talk about the most invisible luxury of all, the ability to save for the future. 62% of Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck, including nearly half of those earning over $100,000 a year. The buffer that used to protect middle-class families from the ups and downs of life has vanished. The ability to put away 15% of your income for retirement is no longer a standard practice. It is a dream. Many are looking at their 65th birthday not as a day of liberation, but as a day of uncertainty. The traditional pension is gone, and the 401k has become a source of stress as inflation eats away at future purchasing power. So, why is this happening? Why does it feel like we are running faster and faster just to stay in the same place? To understand the climax of this story, we have to look beyond our bank statements and look at the system itself. The fundamental reason is that our currency has been losing its value at a rate that wages simply cannot match. Since the early 1970s, when the link between the dollar and gold was severed, the amount of money in circulation has exploded. This has caused the price of assets like houses and stocks to skyrocket, benefiting those who already own them. But for the worker who relies on a paycheck, it means the real cost of living is rising while their real purchasing power is shrinking. We are living through a period of extreme asset inflation, where the things that make you wealthy are getting more expensive, while the things that make you a worker are staying stagnant. The middle class is being squeezed between a ceiling of rising costs and a floor of stagnant earnings. It is a quiet crisis that does not always make the front page news, but it is felt every time you look at your credit card balance or your grocery receipt. But knowing the truth is the first step toward finding a way out. If the old rules of the middle class no longer work, we must write new ones for ourselves. In 2026, true wealth is no longer defined by how much stuff you can buy on credit. It is defined by your level of autonomy and your freedom from the debt trap. This means rethinking our relationship with a standard lifestyle. It means prioritizing the elimination of high-interest debt as if your life depended on it, because in many ways it does. It means embracing a new kind of quiet wealth where you choose a reliable 5-year-old car and a modest living space over the flashy symbols of status that keep you enslaved to a paycheck. It means investing in your own skills and education, because in a volatile economy, your ability to provide value is the only asset that cannot be taken away. And most importantly, it means building a community of like-minded people who recognize that we are all in this together. The middle class may be changing its shape, but the values of hard work, family, and resilience are as strong as ever. We may not be able to change the global economy overnight, but we can change the way we navigate it. We can choose to be the masters of our finances rather than the victims of the system. I want to hear from you. What is one thing that used to be a normal part of your life that you now consider a luxury? Is it travel? Is it eating out? Or is it simply the peace of mind that comes with a full savings account? Share your story in the comments below. By talking about these things openly, we strip away the shame that often comes with financial struggle, and we start to see the bigger picture. Remember, you are not failing. The system is shifting, and your job is to adapt and overcome. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and never stop building the life you deserve, no matter how much the world tries to move the goalposts. Thank you for being here with me today. Take care of yourselves and keep moving forward.